Hey folks, Nick here from Another BookTube channel. Today, looking at maybe one of the best single issue comic books ever. That is Solo number 7, the Michael Allred issue. Um, Solo is a really cool series that DC did that they should do. They should do more stuff like, where they give a single creator like free reign to just do the stories that they want in the DC universe. But this is Michael Allred's effort, and it is, like I said in the intro, one of just the best single one shots of comics that I've ever read. Even without even looking at like the story and actually reading it, Michael Allred's art is just such a delight to look at. He's got this mod like pop art style that just works super well. Is so visually pleasing, and the fact that he is partnered with his wife Laura, who does all the colors, is incredibly adorable to me. Like I love. I haven't. I don't know how they met. If they and the genesis of their collaboration. If they worked together first, then dated. I don't know what, but there's something really sweet to me about like he will only let her color his artwork. Like they are partners in life and partners in comics. That's just so cute to me. um, and he's got a few different stories that populate in here, including just a couple, random pinups. He's got a Metal Men pinup to start things off, as well as an intro from Bizarro Superman. And it's clear from the very jump, because of like these characters being what we first see, Michael Allred is super influenced by like the older Golden Age, Silver Age DC comics in particular, and you're gonna it makes sense because it fits with his style, that pop art style, and it really comes together to form one of the silliest and most fun superhero comics that I've seen. The first story is An Hour with Our Man, and this one, as you can see, is done with a 9-panel grid. And this reminds me a lot of the Tom King's work for DC, because he writes a lot of comics that use the 9-panel grid. And I'm looking at some of these, and I'm seeing like what Mitch Gerrits would do. So I see a lot of Mr. Miracle in this. I see a lot of Strange Adventures in this. The story setup is great. So Our Man is this Z-list superhero who he only has superpowers for 1 hour. He takes a pill when he needs to have superpowers. That pill gives him powers for an hour. So it opens with him hearing a scream. He pops the pill, and when he goes to find the lady in distress, it turns out she's just being tickled, and she didn't actually need help with anything. But now he's got about, let's see, that took him 15 minutes to get there. Actually, no, it took him like 2 minutes. I'm looking at the hour hand. It took him like 5 minutes just to get there. So he's got 55 minutes to kill with these superpowers. And he's really, really anxious. And Allred keeps a clock that's steadily but slowly going forward on every panel, so we can see how far Our Man is into this. And the body language of him just pacing back and forth and not knowing what to do with himself is so funny. It reminds me, in the original Madman comics, in the bottom corners, he would have a little Madman figure who he essentially creates like a flip book, like one of those where he's dancing or something. He's doing a little dance when you flip through it quickly. And it's just so neat because Allred is so great at those like little gestures, and just having them be really poppy and fun. Also, the color. Shout out to Laura right off the bat. Our Man is the only yellow on the page. He's actually really the only real color. Everything else is very muted, so he stands out. And what he's doing is he's just running around trying to burn off energy. So he delivers a pizza in 30 minutes or less. He helps this construction guy dig a hole. He helps paint this house, walk these dogs. This is a funny sequence. He plays basketball with these kids, scores on them, then pops their ball by mistake, and then the next panel cuts to them chasing at, like trying to hunt him down to beat him up, and he's just hiding. He says, "That's right, keep going." You don't want to mess with Tim TikTok Tyler today. No siree. It's just so goofy. He's jumping on this trampoline, goes to the gym, gets kicked out of the gym, hails a cab for a lady, gets her phone number in the process, and then with only 10 minutes left on his pill, then danger comes in. This building starts burning down, so he gets to really jump into action and actually fight some crime. Also foils a bank robbery in that 10 minutes. Then he heads home, picks some belly button lint, trims his nose hairs, and goes to sleep. Really fun story. I mean, name a better Hour Man story that exists. I will wait patiently. Doom Patrol versus Teen Titans is next, and this is a really fun showcase of Allred's not just a figure drawing, but his style, because he's using costumes and characters who were really popular in that early Silver Age. It's the original Doom Patrol team. And what's happening in this one, on the top floor, Robin is letting the Teen Titans use Bruce Wayne's penthouse to party. They're gonna throw a rager, but right beneath them, the Doom Patrol are trying to have a quiet night and get some rest. And that's gonna lead to some hijinks. We got some underage drinking going on that's not going too well. Well, actually, this is homemade root beer that he spits out. So Kid Flash has to go and get some better drinks for everybody. Donna Troy has to invite some other girls over because all the boys are looking at her. She's the only girl there, and this is a party. We're trying to have a good time. So she invites a bunch of girls over. Queen Arrow and Girl Archer, like the old Batgirl. So we're really digging deep. We get a Batmite appearance, and the party's in full swing. And just look at how fun, just like all of these bodies, just in movement, kinetic energy. I also again love what Laura Allred's doing with the color, where it's kind of deliberately off register. You can see it along their emblems. It just fits. It just makes sense again with that old style. It's funny, Aqualad has he's ignoring the party in favor of just taking a bath, but these ghosts from the Phantom Zone mess with the faucet, so now the bathtub is flooding. In the floor beneath, the Doom Patrol are upset about all the noise above, and Cliff wants to go upstairs because he says it's clanking time. He wants to go knock some skulls for these kids not behaving. The apartment does indeed flood, and it goes down to the bathroom floods, and it goes down to the Doom Patrol's room, and the professor. What's his name there? I can't remember his name. The chief swept out of bed in his night clothes and his little nightcap. And I love this. He tells Cliff, "Don't just stand there swimming, Steel. Get clanking." So now they head upstairs, and they're going to have it out. And these group shots are so much fun. Again, just so much energy. People are flying around the room. Even Robin, who cannot fly, is just in midair up here. They're still dancing going on. And it's just absolutely mayhem. And then finally, Bruce Wayne shows up with a date. And as they unlock the door, the whole party lets themselves out and stream past him. Classic, comedy kind of ending. It's ridiculous. It's so silly, and it's so much fun. The next story, I think, is one that Mike Allred probably had a lot of fun with because his brother Lee wrote it. And the final story in here is also, I think, very much personal to Mike. I think it's about him and his brother reading comics as kids. So being able to work on this Batman A Go-Go story, which is very much inspired by the Batman, Adam West Batman show, was probably a lot of fun. In this, the Riddler and his Liberation Army have holding some people hostage. Batman and Robin show up, and there's a fight that ensues. Batman gets knocked on the head. Robin meets this girl, and they kind of immediately are smitten. And after that, we find that, the Riddler got away, and now Commissioner Gordon is kind of giving Batman the business a little bit, saying, what does it matter anyway? You'd hit him on the jaw, he'd go to jail for a couple weeks, and then he'll be back to play games with you. And this is not a new idea, at least definitely not today. Maybe it was in the mid 2000s, but Gordon tells him, "You don't prevent crime. You're not a deterrent. You're a magnet. Every crackpot with a beef against the world puts on a costume just to match wits with you." Batman says that isn't true, and just as he does that, this vagrant stands up and reveals a supervillain outfit, calling himself Doctor Destruction. Batman just ignores him and walks on. It's and look, it's an idea that's kind of become the Batman idea. It's just is Batman helping by doing this, or is he making the problem a lot worse by doing this vigilante thing as a bat? But it's explored in a really fun way here, in a little bit of a different way. Dick Grayson, who liked that girl, her name is Sunshine, that was working with the Riddler, decides to kind of take her as his ward. So now she's going to be living at Bruce Wayne's mansion. Meanwhile, I love this page because it's Batman totally dejected, just sitting at a table with his head in his hands. It's a very un-Batmanly kind of pose. Alfred is cleaning the Batcave, and he could sense something's wrong. And Batman says, Commissioner Gordon called me a dinosaur, he called me a laughingstock. And Alfred asks, what could Batman ever do to become a laughingstock? Meanwhile, he's got the giant dinosaur and the big penny. And Batman is trying to decide, is Gordon right? Should I start to become more serious? Because the world, Gordon's main criticism is that the world is getting a lot more serious. Meanwhile, Batman's still running around on giant typewriters, like the Batman, like the Adam West Batman, essentially. So he's trying to see, should I get darker? Should I start slicing people up with batarangs? How serious should we get? And Alfred reminds him, a wise man once said, "And I shall shed my light over darkness, for the dark things cannot stand the light. What the world needs is more light, not more darkness. Good night, sir." And Batman thinks on that. Meanwhile, Robin and Sunshine, or Dick Grayson and Sunshine, are having a good time together. Batman's continuing fighting some crime. Great. All these splash pages are a lot of fun. Just a ton of movement. Seeing all the different designs. I just love the costume design that Allred uses. I should have pointed it out more in the Teen Titans one, but something else about this is I love that these are he sells that these are teenagers really, really well. Their body is different than the way the adults' bodies kind of feel. They look kind of prepubescent, and their costumes almost look like they're wearing Halloween costumes, and I think that helps a lot. Just smart, just really great with that. Batman drops off some criminals with Gordon. Gordon says, "All right, go play on a giant typewriter or something. This is real life. We have a riot going on." So Bruce, says, "All right, you know what? You don't need me. I'm going to go do my thing." He does the Batusi at a club. But now things get serious. An ear shows up on his doorstep, and he's found out that Dick Grayson has been kidnapped and the girl was murdered. So it's time to hit the Batcave. Great sequence. As he pulls out, though, he sees Sunshine driving, but Batman gets captured. So he's now going looking for the Riddler, looking for who's responsible. But the Riddler just shows up. The Riddler says, "Hey, look, we were both, I'm not who you're looking for. That girl, Sunshine, she was actually the mastermind, talking about all that liberation stuff. That's not what I'm about." And the Riddler and Batman kind of commiserate a little bit. Riddler tells him that, anybody could just kill someone, anybody could mutilate someone. That's not what I'm about. That's not art. We're artists, you and me. Your game, your silly rules, all there just to keep us on the angel's side of the line. But once you cross that line, you can never cross back. Our pride, our wanting to be part of it, kept us in the game. Kids all over America, that tie towels around their necks and run through the house being Batman. Nobody wants to be the Riddler, so we chip at you, try to turn you into us and our failings. We've fallen into the abyss. We want you down in there too. But this Sunshine, she hasn't fallen. She's jumped, swan dived. She needs to be stopped. And so the Riddler and Batman team up because they both want the same thing. They don't want this incredibly serious, deadly world. They want Adam West Batman, and they track down Robin. Turns out he was being manipulated by Sunshine, and when he found out that she was using him, he snapped and he killed her. And things slip into that serious territory that Batman's been trying to avoid. Robin throws himself off the side of a building, so he plummets to his death. And the Riddler says there was nothing you could have done. And Batman tells him, you're going to jail because I have evidence against you, whatever. Riddler tries to push him off the roof. He sidesteps. Riddler goes out after him and again off the side of the building. And Batman has this moment of, I didn't even try to save him. What's become of me? I'm nothing. And then, Robin's back. Riddler's back. And Robin tells him, Batman, you took a heck of a bump on the head. But you never let go of the Riddler. So it all turns out it was not really quite a sort of a dream sequence, because right way back in the beginning, Batman get whacked on the back of the head, and if you're not paying close attention, you notice when he's attacking the Riddler here, bat suit just has the bat on it, no yellow oval. But everything we've read since then, he's got the yellow oval around it, and now we're back to reality. So it was just a horrible nightmare that Batman was living in a super serious world with death and mayhem, and he gets to swing off into the moon set with with the boy Wonder. Fourth World Wager is next. This is Michael Allred playing around with Mr. Miracle and some of the new gods. This is just a quick 2-pager where Orion, Light Ray, and the Bug and Forager tie Mr. Miracle up, throw him into a volcano to see if he can escape. And he does, of course. And the final story, The Adventures of Lee, Mike, and Curtis, Comic Book Clubhouse. So again, these are just two little boys buying some comics, and this is obviously Mike and his brother Lee. And as they walk back to their clubhouse, we get to see some DC heroes kind of in their wake, trying to obviously locate somebody. They get back to their HQ, and we've discovered that there's somebody underneath the headquarters. I don't know who Curtis is. Maybe that's another brother of theirs. I don't know. But he's got an army of mod bots underneath the clubhouse that he unleashes. And we get the best spread. This is fantastic. This is one of the most fun and delightful looking spreads I've ever seen in a comic. Just all these heroes, all these Silver Age characters. This is great. This is what comics is about right here. This is so much fun. And they charge in to try to fight this guy. I'm going to guess Curtis, but he just bangs his head on their little big spool, and they cut his head. They shave his head for some reason, and it ends with just all the heroes reading comics with the brothers, and we have all these really cool Silver Age comics. And that's it. That's the end. That's Solo number 7. Like I said, one of the best just single issues that I've ever read. So much fun, and I love Mike Allred's style. If you're a fan of his, this is a book that you have to have in your collection. It's just terrific work. Let me know if you've read this and if there's anything that I missed that's worth pointing out. Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for spending some time with me today. But now it's time to get back to reading.